What up, what up? Welcome on into Inside Baylor Sports, the official daily podcast of Baylor Athletics. On today's show, we preview this weekend's events for Baylor Athletics. We'll also discuss the upcoming solar eclipse that's coming to town, and Waco is the hotbed for it, and also Golden Bruisers, which is just around the corner. Don't forget, you can catch Inside Baylor Sports every weekday. You can also watch the video version for free over at BaylorPlus.com and on the Baylor Athletics YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, rate, and review the pod, and follow Baylor Plus today on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. It's the official content network of Baylor Athletics. Think Netflix for your Baylor Bears. Download the app on your mobile device and sign up for your free 7-day trial today at BaylorPlus.com. Some great interviews with Elliot Coffey on campus, talking to the newest assistant coaches and also our newest transfers over at BaylorPlus.com. It's Thursday, April 4th. 2024, Justin Hoff alongside Corey Bolts, and it's April, right? I don't know how we got here, Corey. We're finally in the month of April, and when you work in college athletics, I'm going to tell you, from August to March, that's quite the run, but these last 2 months are really where some people struggle to finish out, and I've always had the charge, but you got to kind of zap yourself a little bit to get to June 1 for the stretch run, and that's where we are.
It literally is where we are. And I just told someone on a call this morning that I feel like I blinked and we're about to be in the middle of April. That's a little dramatic, but it's so true in the speed with which things move. And because there's so many sports going on and so many different things happening, it's like, how did we get to April? I feel like it was just Christmas break. We were just talking about the start of conference play for basketball, and now we're approaching the weekend of the Final Four and championship. It's one of the greatest times because there's so many things to be engulfed in. But because of that, you just lose track of days and you don't know what's going on. I'm like, is today Monday? Is today Thursday? Where am I? So at this point, Justin, I'm just trying to be where my feet are and taking it a moment and a day at a time.
And the weather is tremendous here in Waco, Texas right now. 75, 80. We can think about places. I know you've talked about your grandma in Cincy. And, you know, of course, I lived the first 25 years in Michigan. It's not 75 and 80 up there. So we're grateful for that. And I don't know if that's got anything to do with the eclipse in this spot, but there's all kinds of people that are coming from all over the country to Waco, Texas on Monday for the solar eclipse. What do you got any friends coming into town? Are you part of that deal?
So I'm not part of that deal, but here's the thing on this. I am very intrigued by the number of people that will be converging on Waco, Texas. I've heard about this now for months, but as we get closer and closer to Monday, there's stuff in the news about going to get gas and making sure you have food in your house and expecting this extreme influx in the number of people in our town. Campus has recommended working from home on Monday. So I'm like, wait, people, what are we expecting here? And I think it's a great opportunity, though, for a lot of our businesses, local businesses, to be able to benefit from all of the people that'll be coming into town. My hope, though, Justin, to your point about the weather, is that the weather holds up, because right now it's looking a little not as ideal on Monday to be able to view this. We were talking about that earlier this week. There was rain in the forecast for Monday and clouds, and that wouldn't be optimal viewing conditions for the eclipse. So my hope is that as all of these people are making plans to come here and be with us, that the weather is their friend so that they actually get a great experience. Because what I would hate is that they spend all this money to come to Waco, Texas, and then don't get to see anything. Like, that would be terrible.
Yeah, well, if they're coming across this podcast, right, whether on YouTube or, you know, on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you get your podcast, check out the Baylor facilities too, right? Check out some of this. Check out campus. I've heard as many as 500,000 people that are not from Waco will be heading into town. And since that go-ahead happened, I'll be working from home. I'll be staying away from Waco. But yes, as you said, great for the business.
Interesting.
I mean, think about this as like a huge sporting event. This is almost like a World Cup coming to a big city for Waco.
Uh-huh.
And this is great to see, but I will avoid HEB.
Literally.
I will not.
Avoid all the different places, Justin. The one thing, though, if 500,000 people are coming, I would imagine that they'll start coming on Friday, maybe Saturday, maybe even Sunday. We have baseball at home. We have softball at home. Come on out, see the facilities, see our student athletes taking some sports. But yeah, I'll be at softball because we need to be there. But outside of that, I don't know that you'll see me around town too much this weekend either.
And what about the for safety? Now we'll turn our eyes to safety, eyes
Okay.
and safety piece. So you're not supposed to look at the sun
Yeah,
or
no.
the eclipse.
You got to have the appropriate glasses now, friends. You don't put on sunglasses thinking you can just look up there. You're going to hurt your eyes. It's been a whole lot of communication around this. So if you are trying to view this thing, I got glasses. You can get them from Amazon. Get you some glasses and protect your eyes. If you don't have them and you need to order them, Amazon can get something to you really, really quickly. Glasses are being provided at a couple of our different locations for viewing pleasure. But yeah, you can't just look up at this thing. You need to protect your eyes or you will really, really hurt them.
Okay, well, thankfully, we don't play any competition on Monday outside of women's golf. Women's golf's up in Dallas, Texas, and so close to the center, the heart of really the best location for the solar eclipse. Just happens to be here in the 254. Just go figure on that one. But let's use it to our Waco. But yeah, women's golf, they'll have to stop or something during that. I don't know how they're going to handle that up in Dallas. But let's focus in on this weekend. Friday, April 5th, a lot of events going on. Let's start with softball and baseball. So softball and baseball, home series coming up this weekend. For softball, it's against Texas Tech. And as you creep into May, we know how important these series are now, Corey. It's really go time for all of our programs, particularly softball and baseball. But softball, a big weekend series against the Texas Tech team.
It is. It's a huge series. It's one, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It's one that we really need when you think about our seating within the conference and where we sit within our conference. And in an ideal world, which I think is definitely possible, we would sweep them. We would take all three this weekend and get it done. But as we get closer and closer to May, we get closer and closer to the softball Big 12 championship and postseason. And we would love the opportunity to be able to host. And to be able to host, you have to be top 16 RPI. Right now, we're sitting at number 14 in the RPI. So we want to stay up there. And in order to do that, we need to win. The benefit is in our conference, we have such great competition and level of competition that though we've taken some losses because they were so high in the RPI, it hasn't hurt us tremendously. But we have to win the games that are winnable. And candidly, some of those games we lost were very winnable games. We just had some mistakes that the teams were able to capitalize on. But our next games here on out are all games that we have to have. And we have the team to be able to do that. The team just has to show up consistently, ready to play and compete and grind it out. And we can be successful. But we'll have a test this weekend and we'll be prepared to navigate that. And my hope, as always, is that we can end the weekend with all wins.
Yeah, looking at softball's current conference record, Baylor 3-9 in conference play, Texas Tech 3-6. And so great opportunity for Baylor to get closer to 500. Of course, want to get over that marker to finish out the season in Big 12 play. 6:30 on Friday night, 2 o'clock on Saturday, and then 1 o'clock on Sunday. All games at the Getterman Stadium, or you can watch it live on Big 12 now on ESPN+. Baseball, very similar deal. Unique in the baseball side that they are playing a non-conference opponent on a weekend series in April, but just kind of how it played out in the scheduling and all the teams. Of course, on the baseball side, there's 13 teams in the Big 12 conference. And so 13 teams, that's an oddball number. I'm not sure if there's other non-conference opponents out there in the month of April for other schools in the Big 12, but we have one by way of Incarnate Word. And so a great opportunity for baseball, much like softball, Corey, to possibly sweep this weekend, get some more wins under their belt, and get the confidence up.
Yeah, and they've had an opportunity to do that. They had their midweek game to help build confidence, got a great win in the middle of the week, and now they look ahead to this weekend and a phenomenal opportunity. To your point, Justin, you don't often get weekend series this late into the season where you're playing a non-conference competitor. So it's a break in the play from a competition standpoint to give you a different look, give you a different team to go up against. But it's an opportunity for them to get some wins, ride on the confidence that was built from their most recent win, and be able to get a couple more wins in the win column and continue to boost that confidence as they prepare for their next conference series the following weekend.
As for men's tennis, they head to the Sooner State. They're going to Norman and also Stillwater this weekend. Really big matches there. 5 o'clock against Oklahoma on Friday. That match can be seen on Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus. And the same can be said on Sunday, Oklahoma State, 1 o'clock. And for men's tennis, just 3 remaining regular season matches. And so when you say under 5 matches, you want to get all these victories. Of course, the Big 12 championships in Stillwater, Oklahoma. So a little bit of a test run, if you will, to get time a couple weeks beforehand. So really looking forward to that on the men's side for tennis. And men's golf, skipped over A&T. Thought they were playing on Saturday. A&T, they're on Friday night, Pac-12 Network against Oregon, the number 3 seed. Baylor, of course, number 1 ranked in the country right now, undefeated, 7-0, doing what Baylor A&T does. So they're going out to Pacific Northwest. Of course, the women's basketball team was just up there. You got to account for the hour change. It's 2 back. Pacific time's no joke. But looking forward to seeing Baylor A&T go for 8-0, a perfect regular season on Friday night.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. That team has just been phenomenal, and it's who they are. So it's almost as if we begin to expect that. But I think it's worth just pausing and acknowledging the level of competition and competitors that they are, because they are doing some really good things and some really hard things well. And that's what's helped them be undefeated for this regular season. And Oregon is always a test for them. They'll say that they always compete hard against us when we are going up against them. So it should be an interesting one. And you're right, Justin. I mean, a 7 p.m. start time, that I'm hopeful that that's 7 p.m. Central, so that's 5 p.m. Pacific. But that's something that normally we're playing in the middle of the day here. So they're doing 3 o'clocks or 5 o'clocks. So it's just a little bit different for them and something for them to mentally prepare for and make sure they have the appropriate energy levels. But they'll get up for that. I have no doubts about it because of who they're going up against, as I know Oregon is going to get up because they're going against Baylor. So it should be a fun one to watch.
That is Central Time. I only work and live and operate on Central Time, Corey. I'll say this much too. Hot take, I think it's a mild take. Central Time is the best time. I lived in Eastern Time Zone for 26 years. The Central Time, specifically for a sports fan, you get that extra hour of sleep, which is really good. But if you're on the Pacific Coast, it just jacks up everything. I mean, you got NFL games at 10 o'clock on a Sunday. I have an uncle that lives out in Portland, and when I go out there, it just jacks up my whole day. And it's really difficult to get, but Central Time is the best time.
That I was prepared to debate you on that, but hearing your rationale, I would actually agree. Being able to not have to stay up as late to catch things that's going on the East Coast, and working a little bit. Now the West Coast, I want no parts of their time. Pacific time, you can have that. But I was prepared to go after you on the Central Time because I'm an East Coast girl at heart. But I would have to agree.
That extra hour of sleep, we need that beauty sleep. At least I do.
I do too.
Yeah. Love the Central Time. As for men's golf, they'll be playing in Central Time, just a short trip down to Bryan, Texas for the Aggie Invitational. They play in this each and every year. This is on Saturday and Sunday. And men's golf, much like many of the other sports, coming down the stretch. And so great opportunity for men's golf to one last little tune-up before the Big 12 championships just around the corner. Women's tennis, a big matchup on Saturday as well at 11 a.m. up in Fort Worth against TCU. And so all these sports converging at once right now. We have 9 sports in their regular seasons that still have left to be played, right? 10 sports, their seasons are completed. You think about spring football, it's a separate deal, but 10 are down, 9 to go, and really looking forward to finishing with a bang and going for some trophies, doing some trophy hunting out here, and just finishing these last 2 months with some wins.
Absolutely. And I think we've been very spoiled with winning programs. And that is just our expectation at this point, is to be able to see our teams hold trophies for conference championships and be able to see our teams hold trophies for national championships. And that's my hope. My hope is that our young men and our young women can go far in their sports and see successes in their individual spaces, but then also see successes academically. Because just like we're nearing the end of their sports seasons, we're nearing the end of the 23-24 school year as well. And looking forward to being able to celebrate our student athletes and their academics at our grad celebration. And you teased it at the front end of this, but also looking forward to celebrating all of our student athletes in a big way at Golden Bruisers. So lots of fun things to come, and I'm hopeful that there's tons to celebrate from a successes standpoint.
You know, Baylor's got so many great things to offer, and you think about Baylor Athletics, all the facilities, right? All the new spaces, the Foster Pavilion, the Development Center over there, the Fudge Football Development Center. Of course, everything that your team has done in the safe space and everything it hires, all the beautiful facilities from Getterman to Baylor Ballpark, all these great things. That's part of the student-athlete experience, as is the Golden Bruisers. That's been going on since the spring of 2018. Really special, too, by the way, Corey, and shout out to your team. You know, a lot of these initiatives, sometimes people want to get out there and do some cool things, but it's hard to sustain things, right? And so the fact that you guys have done this for several years now for several student athletes, I know this is a moment that they really remember, and it kind of caps the year.
It does. And for those that may not have heard of it, so the Golden Bruisers is our annual end of year celebration. Think of it as FBs, but Baylor's twist on that for our student athletes. And it's a celebration and acknowledgement of their successes in our 4 pillars of our athletic department. So looking at successes in academics, so academic achievement, successes athletically from an athletic success standpoint, within character formation and what they're doing outside of their sport, as well as sports ministry and spiritual growth. So we're very strategic in the awards that are provided to be able to celebrate accomplishments holistically of our student athletes, both individually and as a team. And our student athletes get to speak into what that looks like. So they can come up with the theme, they can choose what the pre-show should look like. They have an input on our host or hostess, if you will, but they have input on all of those things. And it's so fun to be part of an evening where you're all getting together, everybody gets to dress up, and you get to pause and reflect on the year that was and the highs of that year and the challenges that have been overcome and the cool things that people have done in the Waco community or abroad, and all celebrate that together. It's one of the largest events that we do as an athletic department. And the reason that I love it, in addition to that, is that it truly is a team effort. So Justin, you shouted out our SACE team, but I'm going to shout out the other areas that have been so pivotal in helping to make this a success, because your shop, Justin, has been super helpful in us thinking about the different videos that are shown and the different graphics that are made, and And members of our communications team with Brent Ingram and his folks have been great with our script and making sure that we have everything languaged appropriately. And then our spirit squads have been great about Bruiser and Marigold showing up in their fancy attire and adding flair to the evening. So there's so many people that have been instrumental in making this a reality. And what's awesome is that everybody sees it as a team effort and something that they want to contribute to for it to be a success. And because of that mindset, we've been able to do it since 2018, like you mentioned. And it's something that our student athletes look forward to every year. Definitely a labor of love, but really excited about this year. This year's theme is movie premieres. So think red carpet and flashy lights and lots of backdrops and elegance. So should be fun. I'm excited. It'll be here before we know it, though. You talked about how quickly things go right now. We're gonna blink, and it's gonna be April 22nd.
Do we have candy, popcorn? What's that looking
So
like?
I'm so glad you asked. Yes, we do. And as part of the pre-show, one of the things that SAC asked about was popcorn specifically. So we'll have a popcorn machine with fresh popcorn for people to take and enjoy during the show. And then most recently, they also mentioned the box candy that you would typically get if you go to a movie in a theater, not necessarily a premiere. So we're looking into the box candy option for the student athletes and those others that are attending as well. But yes, you're thinking the right way, Justin, of the nice snacks that will be able to be enjoyed while you're watching and taking in the Golden Bruisers show.
I would categorize this as a want, not a need. And I'll just say this, just me, okay? And this is probably too late in the process. So you can take this one ear and push it out the other ear, okay? But when I go to the movies, which is not often because I'm usually watching like Netflix and stuff like that, I usually just wait, but slushies, ices.
Okay, now Justin. Now, I love the recommendation. I'll pass it along to the Golden Bruisers admin committee and see what they might be able to do. I have no idea what our beverages are beyond water and lemonade. So let me ask the question, put the idea out there, see what sticks, and show up on April 22nd, and we'll see. We'll see if we have a slushie for you or not.
Cherry flavor.
Okay, now, whoa.
I know.
Very specific here, friend.
Yep. Well, I'll be there. And once again, you can take that in one ear, out the other. I'm just thinking movies. If I'm going to the movies, I got to get me a slushie.
I'm with it.
It's just part of the process. But yeah, looking forward to it. It's a fun month ahead of us. Looking forward to all that's to come and to finish out this 23-24 year really strong. That'll do it for today's edition of Inside Baylor Sports, a Sport and Story production. Thanks for listening. For Corey Bolts, I'm Justin Hoff. Have a great Thursday, and Sickle Bears.